So
All right, guys. These dudes are talking football. These guys are talking Rams football. Now, what's the point of that?
I went to the game last night to support our local Rams. First time in 14 years that they went to the playoffs.
But Tom's like a young man. Before he went to the Ram game, he went to the Clipper game. So he goes to the Clipper game.
See, Tom, this is where all the work that you do on this track, that's where it pays off. That's stamina.
There's a good turnout today on the track.
I know, it's crazy.
And
we're not lost in fog like last week. Yeah.
That was weird.
Yeah, Josephine is here.
Hi.
Say what's up, Josephine.
What's up?
And JP is here.
I'm wearing my Ring
and
Magazine
JP,
shirt.
Josephine told me when you're here, this is when these periscopes are at their absolute best.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Thank you, Josephine. You have a big fan support.
Hey, whoever sent that question for Tom regarding BJ Saunders, say it again. I missed it.
Write it again, we'll get it. So this is...
That's a cool shirt.
In support of Dougie Fisher. This is made by The Ring. You can get them on Ring.
You can.
Canelo and Triple G. This is from the first fight.
And that artist is Richard Sloan.
It is. He does some cool stuff.
Yeah, we're going to have him do some more.
Yep.
Did you get that part of the subscription, or you
I
bought
did.
it online?
This was part of the holiday deal they had.
Oh, okay.
So you got a subscription and the
Okay.
shirts.
BJ Saunders wants none of Triple G. He will fight Canelo and use Triple G's name.
Oh, okay.
All right, Nostradamus. We'll see.
Well, BJ.
I think BJ's feeling himself right now.
Yeah,
I think he might be serious when he calls out Triple G.
And you know, yeah. It's hard to say. He talks about fighting Triple G a lot. I think if the money is right, he'll fight Triple G. The problem is his asking price is extremely high. So
yeah,
we'll see.
But the trouble with that is that it's going to sell many pay-per-views. The amount of money he has
not
to
in the
have,
U.S.
That's that's a challenge there. You know, fighters that want a lot of money but then don't bring the value.
Right.
He
doesn't bring anything.
Well, he brings the WBO title.
No, he brings the title, but I mean in bringing fans.
As far as ticket sales
this guy says Triple G runs through BJ Saunders.
I like it.
I think that's a tough fight. You know,
where he says something. He says BJ beats Canelo, which that stylistically BJ has an edge on Canelo, I think. Yeah.
If he gets in the mental and physical shape he was in for the last fight.
Yeah.
He looked good in the last fight.
Yeah. But here's the thing about BJ. Sometimes he looks great, and then the next fight he doesn't look great. Consistency has been a problem with
his
him.
last fight he looked incredibly great.
Which is probably the main reason, apart from traveling to Montreal, people were doubting BJ going into the Lemieux fight.
That was a hell of a performance.
Yeah. Well, I think he needed that too. I think he needed that motivation, fighting outside of home, and I think it's been great for him teaming up with Dominic Ingle.
Dominic Ingle has played a big role in the training, but I think when he feels threatened, and he knew Lemieux was a threat to him, then he trained a lot different.
Absolutely.
Plus, he fought a perfect fight, and Lemieux was a perfect guy.
True.
So it all worked out.
Coach knows. I'm going to turn this over to JP.
So everyone, write in your questions. Tom's nice enough to be here this morning. We got Promoter of the Year, Tom Loeffler. 360 Promotions.
Yeah, I'm wearing the hat today.
The new hat. Coach Dave and Doug Fisher. So if you guys have questions, write in.
You got a box of magazines being mailed out to you.
I was going to ask, but I was just checking.
To the headquarters. Oh, yeah. I don't know if you should leave it there. Well, I don't know.
And Doug and I have the same uniform on.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Someone wants to know how many fights left for Triple G, Mr. Loeffler?
Good question. With his style and his training ethic and his lifestyle outside the ring, lives very clean, doesn't drink any alcohol, is a family guy. I think he can fight for as long as he wants to. I'd say, maybe 2 or 3 years, but it's really up to him. He's, in control of his own destiny. So if we could do this Canelo rematch, hopefully we get that done here pretty soon, then that would be another huge fight for him.
And it's motivation.
Let me just say, Triple G is 35 years old, and there's a great history of middleweights, standouts, who just hit their stride in their mid-30s.
True. Sugar
Ray Robinson, all those fight of the years that Robinson was having with Carmen Basilio, going back to the fights with Gene Fulmer, the one where he knocked Fulmer out with that single perfect left hook.
What round?
He was 35.
Right.
I think that was round 5. He was in his mid-30s. He was in his mid to late 30s when he was doing all that. When Bernard Hopkins beat Felix Trinidad to become the undisputed middleweight champion, he was 35 years old. Yeah. When Mike McCallum was engaging in a brilliant 12-round boxing exhibition with a young James Toney, He was 35 years old. Both those fights. Yeah. You guys, if you really, really appreciate boxing technique and two boxers, two master boxers coming together to make an entertaining boxing match, watch Tony versus McCallum 1 and 2. They're on YouTube. Go find it. And keep in mind, McCallum is 35 years old.
Good morning, Ryan Scalia. He says, Viva 360.
Scalia. Ryan
Viva
Scalia,
360.
That's our guy. Yeah.
That's our guy. Yeah. So, you know what's crazy about that, Doug, is you watch the first fight and people are saying, oh, he's 36 years old. He ran Canelo all over the ring.
Yeah, here's the thing. He's 35 years old, and he's outworking guys like Daniel Jacobs and Canelo. And these guys are complete, experienced fighters at their physical peaks.
You know, they replayed the fight over the holidays, and I had 8-4 Triple G again, and I keep watching it, and you notice so many different things, you know.
I think this fight stands up. It'll stand up the test of time.
It's a great fight.
When people look back at it, they'll say, that was a damn good fight. Yeah. Like when it happened live, people weren't saying, yo, fight of the year. They weren't, you know, I think that scorecard, Adelaide Bird's scorecard, really took a big dump on it.
Yeah.
Like a giant bird literally dropping on it. But as we get farther away from that, when you just look at the fight itself, quality stuff. Yeah. A lot of nuance.
So I'll get to these questions, but before we say this, I want to say something, and this is not the opinion of Doug or Tom or Coach Dave, but I want to say something. A lot of people are watching. I want to talk to Canelo now. Let's go. Come on, man. Let's do this. Let's do this. I want to talk to him in Spanish. If you guys at Golden Boy are watching this, I was thinking about this in the drive over. I tell my son, cero miedo in Spanish. Zero fear. Let's prove it, man. Let's make this fight. Come on, Canelo. It's January. It's mid-January. Let's go. Let's go. Triple G's ready.
Canelo doesn't like to be rushed.
Triple G is ready. Come on.
I'm in regular contact with Eric Gomez, so hopefully we can figure out how to make it work here.
All right.
Is he in contact with Canelo?
Apparently now that Canelo's back from vacation, he's in contact with Canelo. Yeah, so that was a big delay. I think they were gone for like 2 months. So.
Yeah.
Had a long vacation.
Canelo World Tour.
So do you think they're doing this just to grind you?
We're a lot of back and forth, so we'll see. But I feel like we're getting closer.
Because they need this fight too.
Absolutely.
That's the thing. They need each other. That's the thing. The first fight was so financially successful for both guys that they really need each other in this fight, and the fans are demanding it. I mean, who else? Who do the fans want to see Canelo fight or Triple G fight besides the rematch? So there's a lot of pressure on for them to do the right thing.
But are there still offers coming in from various venues, or is it pretty much Vegas is like, we're going to get this?
I'll answer that.
Yes, go ahead.
We don't have to answer that.
Dave is the
we know where that's going to be. Now, if they could get Bennett, he's the worst. Bennett is just. I mean, he could have shown something getting rid of Adelaide Bird. Just retire her. I mean, that was a big statement. I mean, to let her judge again after that. I mean, because that scorecard really took so much away from this fight.
Took a lot of momentum away. Yeah.
I'll ask that question next, guys. So we have a lot. Doug and Tom both have a lot of UK followers, and we have some fans from the UK that would like to know. Callum Smith, if he wins the tournament, what do you think about Callum Smith versus Gennady?
That's a good fight. That's a really good fight. If he wins that tournament, he definitely raises his profile. I like the Fighting Smith brothers. Yep. We had Steven Smith on the Salido show out in Las Vegas, and Paul Smith is a great guy. So I have a lot of respect for Callum.
They got a super cool trainer, Joe Gallagher.
Yeah. Got to get through Eubank first and Groves. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Let me just say this. And you know, Richard Schaefer's not one of my favorite people in boxing.
Right.
I love the World Boxing Super Series because it automatically puts on the calendar these really good fights like Usyk versus Bradis in Latvia. Obviously, Groves versus Eubank in Manchester. That's going to be off the hook.
And Gassiev and Dorticos.
And Dorticos in Russia. It's early in the year. It's scheduled. It's happening. And whoever wins these, the cruiserweight and the super middleweight tournament, they're likely going to be the ring champions.
Yeah.
Because they're just as they progress in the tournament, they move up the rankings.
Speaking about ring champions, you are going to have a vacant super flyweight.
It looks that way,
right? So
I'm going to get an official statement from Mr. Ohashi.
That's what. That's my understanding.
Inouye's
going to move up officially. And
so if that happens, then absolutely number one and number two at super flyweight is Srisaket Rangvasai and Juan Estrada.
So
Estrada.
Talk about awesome
that would
fights
be
that are
for
already
the
on the
new-
schedule.
So
I love
that
it.
fight we would see for the ring title.
Yeah, the junior
Outstanding.
bantamweight title.
In
Outstanding.
addition to the WBC super flyweight title.
Yes.
So that'll be a
That's
great
good.
show. And remember, we just announced Brian Valoria is going to be officially be on. I kind of alluded to that, but now
Right.
it's all signed. and sealed.
WBA flyweight.
Yeah, he's,
Tom, there's a
112
rumor
pounds
about
up.
that card that the tickets are flying. Is that true?
Tickets are selling very well, and Brian Valoria is a big ticket seller. This will be actually, Coach, this will be his 5th world title that he's going to. If he wins, he'll be a 5-time world champion. That's
He's
pretty
amazing
stuff.
for a sub bantamweight because he's 37 years old. We forget he was in the 2000 Olympics. He was a U.S.
right.
Olympian.
Was he U.S.? Okay.
I
yeah.
think he's the last one. Someone told me he's the
he's
last.
outlast all of them.
He's the last one from that 2000 team. That's
Yeah,
like-
the medal winners from there was Rocky Juarez, got a silver. Remember him? He's retired.
Juarez.
Jermaine Taylor got a
Yep.
bronze. He's retired and should never come back.
Right.
You know. And then that's it. And then Jeff Lacey was on that
Jeff
squad.
took
He's
Lacey.
been gone, right? No. Valoria's last man standing, and arguably, I think he's the most accomplished U.S. amateur from the class of 2000. But he's also,
Could
I
be,
mean,
yeah. Especially if he wins this
he takes a
title.
back seat to Miguel Cotto, who was a 2000 Olympian, and some of these others. But when you look at his career, he's had some setbacks, but
And
comes back.
Delakian's a good fighter.
I hear
He's
some
an
good stuff about
undefeated
this guy.
from Ukraine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
both guys are
that's going to
ring
be a good fight. But if Brian can win that fight, become a 5-time world champion, that's legendary stuff.
You
Now-
might, you know what? Might begin to be able to make an argument for Valoria being a Hall of
You
Famer.
would have to. Yeah.
Think
you'd
about
have
it.
to.
If he wins the 5th title.
Now, what
Yeah.
were his 5 at? Were they all at? Let's see. what
No,
were
no. The
weight
first one
classes?
was at 108.
108.
Yeah,
right.
it was
Okay.
WBC 108,
Okay.
and then I think he regained it, and then he went up to flyweight and won 2 belts there because he fought Tyson Marquez at the Sports Arena, and in the co-feature to that bout was Chocolatito versus Estrada.
Okay, right. That was
Estrada
the
still-
sports
yeah.
right.
Bernie says Valoria Hall of Fame. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Estrada beat Valoria like in Macau to get those 2 flyweight belts.
Now
And
we'll.
now we got him at Superfly.
So we'll see. I'm not an odds maker, but I bet the fights. That might be a very close odds. That fight. In fact, Valoria
That
may
one
be the underdog.
Probably will be very close. Estrada and Sisraket. I mean,
Very
people.
close.
That's about as good of a fight as you can get.
That's
you
a-
know,
that's a tough
Estrada
fight
is
to
right
pick.
in his peak, and what Zamfir's saying is that he's much stronger at 115 than he was at 112.
Oh, yeah.
When he fought Chocolatito.
Oh, absolutely.
So they're very confident. Sisraket looked like a completely different guy in the ring in that rematch. You know,
He's
once
strong.
you know, a lot of times once you win a world title, especially in his financial situation they grew up in, you know, his training camp, his sparring partners, everything is completely different.
And now the
then-
whole country knows
All right,
him
you're right,
and
right.
is backing him,
And
and
he's
that
a hero.
means a lot.
He's a hero in Thailand.
Yeah,
We-
he's like
we
man of the year.
We expect a lot of the Thai fans to come out to support their guy Sisraket, and naturally a lot of Mexican fans will come out to support Estrada. And Quadras is on that show. Quadras against Arroyo.
Very popular
yeah,
fighter,
That's a
Carlos.
good
That's
Quadras.
an excellent matchup.
Mexico versus Puerto Rico. Carlos Quadras is actually training in Big Red right now with Abel Sanchez. So
He needs that.
he needs a little discipline. I
He
think
does.
Abel says
Because
that
he parties.
the way
He's a fun guy.
the way he's taken to the training regimen, it's not easy up there. You know, Abel runs a very tight ship, and if someone doesn't follow his
Now, he'll do it.
regimen,
He's an athlete.
they're out. you
Just
know.
ask the Crusher.
Yeah.
And that's
Quadras is a
one
natural
example.
athlete.
Now it's going to be a triple header on HBO.
Triple header. So we have one more HBO fight. A lot of people think the Valoria fight is the third HBO fight, but that's actually for the fans. That's a bonus fight live in the arena. That's not going to be on the HBO triple header.
Right.
It'll be on the international feed,
yeah.
but not on the HBO.
Do you
feed.
think we'll work out a stream for the Valoria fight? Possibly. We'll see.
Talking to Ring TV
All right.
about potentially doing the undercard streams.
Fantastic.
There you go.
Sinise Estrada is supposed to be on the show.
Super bad.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, so there's Pedro Duran from Paramount, California. He's supposed to be on the show. So
Cool.
it's going to be a lot of great fighters on the show.
Who was that last guy you said?
Pedro Duran.
Oh, Pedro Duran.
Duran,
Yeah. He's with
He's with
the
Zenford.
Mota family. And he's
Yeah,
with
and Ricky Mota.
yeah. Did he fight on that December 9 card? He's a
on
prospect,
that,
right?
He was on that show also. Yeah, he's fought on a couple.
Yeah,
of
junior lightweight.
So if you guys want to get to LA in February, the 24th at the Forum,
February 24th at the Fabulous Forum.
That's
yeah.
going to be a good
a
turnout.
sensational card
Yeah.
to
That
start
could
the
be a sellout.
That we opened the lower bowl, but the tickets were selling so quickly. I think we're going to open the upper bowl.
And that's your first 360 promotion?
That's the first official 360 promotions show on HBO.
Superfly
so
2.
That'll be cool.
Opening your first promotion on HBO. That's pretty
We have a
cool.
couple questions for Tom.
good.
When do you think the third fight might be announced?
Hopefully within this week. Yeah.
Okay.
We got actually a pretty cool, since unfortunately Inoue is going to move up, and Yafai looks like Eddie's he's going to keep fighting in UK.
Yeah, but you know what? Superfly 3. We get Cal Yafai.
Hopefully, if he continues to build his profile and.
That's the great thing about Superfly is that the co-featured bouts make for follow-up fights.
Right.
You know what I'm
And the
saying?
third fight will be a great addition to the show. I can't really reveal that one yet, but it'll be a surprise, and a lot of people, if it happens, people will be pleasantly surprised.
Answer me this: is it going to be a lighter weight fight?
No,
Is it
it'll be contested at Superfly.
Oh, it'll be a Superfly.
There you go.
fight.
That's
Okay.
your hint.
So
That's
there's
your hint, sweet
yeah.
son. 360 Promotions
who is it?
tweeted that's a good-looking hat. It certainly is.
It is.
Certainly is.
Hey, so when's your
Love the
first
support.
show in Hollywood?
Looking at March.
March.
Doing the first
Okay.
club series show in March. We're getting actually a lot of interest in that because there's so many fighters in the Southern California area that want to fight, and we're looking at doing even international.
Good morning, Barbosa
fighters,
Box.
and national fighters. So we're looking at doing a high-end club show. So it should be pretty cool. It's going to be a big party.
That's the great thing about Southern California. If you go to the gyms, you will literally see. If you go to 4 gyms, you will literally see fighters from every corner of the globe training there.
Mr. Tom Loeffler, any heavyweights on 360's
On
view
the first
right now?
show, you know what? I don't think we're going to have a heavyweight on the first show. We had such a long run with the Klitschko brothers. Really the most. We promoted the most heavyweight championship fights in this since the year 2000.
So let me ask you this. Every time you do interviews or wherever, you're going to have the 2 ring card girls on the side.
You kind of have to.
We're going to spice it up a little bit.
We're going to have
to
it
spice
works
it
in
up a little
reverse
bit.
for me. I think it's better without it.
Without it?
It's sort of a turnoff to me.
All
I
right.
mean, the girls
sit
with
there.
the smiles,
Yeah.
the smiles and the girls and the things, and every time they move around,
Everyone's looking at
Coach,
the girls.
I think that comes with Tekate's promotion when they sponsor an event.
Oh, is that it?
That's part of the package. That's part of their
definitely a position.
part of their
themselves
advertising.
pretty
Yeah.
well.
Question for Tom, and we actually had this guy as a special guest last week. If you want to go watch last week's Periscope, want a Ryan Martin.
Oh,
update.
Ryan Martin, that's right. Yeah, Ryan turned up as our special Periscope.
I had a lot of people comment what a great guy he was.
He's a really good guy, yeah.
He's very sophisticated.
Good guy. Yep.
And a smart
well-spoken
guy.
kid,
And he's a really good fighter.
Yeah.
He's a really good fighter. And his last fight on the Triple G card,
Yeah. Fought a
that guy
tough guy.
fought was really
Fought a tough guy, Rojo from.
It shouldn't have been a
Cancun.
split decision though.
No.
Yeah,
The
I
guy
wish,
who scored for the dude from Cancun, that was ridiculous.
I wish I'd been
They
here to
needed-
talk
they
to
needed
Ryan
to-
about that because that was
It's a tough
interesting
fight.
because online people had it for Ryan, and then in the arena, I think Letterman's scorecard was kind of
I'm
controversial.
not sure what Letterman had, but
I've
there
never
were
seen
some
a-
people live that had Rojo winning. Yeah,
A couple
So
people,
It was a very
Bro,
close fight.
yeah. Rojo is he throws bricks.
But
man.
that shows. I mean,
He's
we
a tough
try to
cat.
make the fights that are entertaining
Yeah,
fights.
it had some drama.
Barbosa Box wants to know, Tom, signing 3 or 4 new fighters for 360 possibly?
Yeah, as we're looking at signing a few fighters, gives me more flexibility now than we had with K2 or Triple G promotions. Still naturally going to do all the Triple G shows.
Great.
But with 360, it's a lot more flexibility with the smaller shows.
Are you going to have female fights?
Yeah. Oh, there's going to be 2 female fights. On,
Really?
2 female fights
Cool.
on the Superfly show. So we'll be announcing
good,
those. Seniso Estrada will be one, and then we'll have one more. Now, those are always fan favorites. Is the female fights a lot of times, or most of the time, they're more action packed than the male fighters. And
Coach knows that.
Cecilia.
Coach and I are looking forward to
Breakfast
that.
just won the Boxing Writers Female Fighter of the Year.
Yeah.
They
BWAA.
have a new category now, the Christy Martin Female Fighter of the Year. So Cecilia should be coming back here pretty soon. She actually wants to fight here in the States, so she might be fighting in April here in the U.S.
April.
Cecilia is one of my favorite fighters. I love watching her fight.
She's definitely marketable, and she can fight. She's the only undisputed champion in the sport of boxing. She has
That's
all
when
the
it
titles
means
in
something.
her division.
It's not
Yeah.
just collecting all the titles. You got to defend it.
Right?
That welterweight division she's in is probably the most competitive of all the female categories.
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
This question, actually, it's not a question, just a comment. They said, Tom, we'd like to see Ryan Martin challenge Linares down the road.
That's a good fight. And then, in fact, I've talked to Golden Boy about that fight, and that could be maybe at the end of the year, just depending on how everything shakes out. That's a very good fight, yeah.
Barbosa wants to know, what did we all think of the stoppage yesterday? Doug and I were talking about it. Tony Weeks a little early, I think.
Yeah, a little. It looks that way.
A little
Here's
early.
the thing about Weeks is sometimes he'll let it go, and then other times he's quick on the trigger.
Okay.
So when there's that kind of inconsistency, it starts to it makes hardcore fight fans scratch their heads.
It could depend who the promoter is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which way he wants to
Yeah.
fly there.
Yeah, and I could say some other things, but I'm not.
But
Gonna
if you
go
guys
there.
didn't see that fight,
I'm not
Isaac
gonna go
Dogbo's a good prospect.
Oh,
he's
he
now
is.
an interim champ. Or
Yeah,
he's
he
the
was.
number
He
one?
was ranked number 10 by
Yeah.
Ring Magazine at junior featherweight going into that fight, and Juarez was number 9.
And Juarez gave Nonita a hell of a fight.
Yeah, or maybe that was at featherweight. Was it junior featherweight? Or it was featherweight.
I don't know what it
forget.
was last night. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. They're featherweights.
Question for Tom: Kovalev versus Beterbiev. Who do you like in that fight? Kovalev versus Beterbiev.
Kovalev and Beterbiev.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on one second. Tom has a call here.
I just was answering a text. Kovalev Beterbiev was
It's a good fight.
You know, it's a good fight. It's interesting to see how Kovalev now is reacting, how he's coming back, and Beterbiev, seems to be one of the best guys coming up. I think Beterbiev is still a little bit untested.
Same here.
I really think Bivol is the class of that division now. I think
Yes.
Bivol, even though it's also premature to kind of anoint him, but if he continues to look the way he's looked, and this fight with Ferrer, that's going to be a good test.
Yeah,
for him.
March 3,
Barrera can fight.
Great fight.
Bivol will receive a stern test from Sullivan Barrera.
Great fight.
Who's active on Twitter, isn't he? Yeah. I had a little exchange with him yesterday.
He's upset with you, Doug.
Yeah, I'm like, he's got this me against the world kind of thing going, which I think
That could
some
help him.
fighters need that.
If Bivol can
Because
beat Ferrer, then
Barrera got all
that's a
antsy.
solid
He wasn't
win.
hearing from Bivol's camp about VADA testing, so he put out this tweet, hey, no testing,
testing,
no
no
fight.
fights.
And he talked to reporters, including Michael Woods of The Ring, and was saying, like, hey, man, I'm trying to get in touch with these guys, and no one's getting back to me, so I'm just letting you know, if he doesn't do VADA testing, then I'm not going to fight. And which, okay, my whole thing is, because he's saying he hasn't gotten back to me in the last 3 weeks, but what's it been the last 3 weeks? It's the holiday season,
Yeah.
I'm sure the fighters are training, but everybody else, most people, unless you're like me and JP, unless you're an editor or you're like, Tom over here or
trying to
Dave,
put fights together.
we're working through the holidays. Most people are vacationing with their families. So what I told them was, like, when you put that out there, it's like you're trying to, it's like it can be construed as you're making allegations.
Yeah.
It's like you're saying, well, I don't trust Bivol. Bivol looks like he's juiced. You know what I'm saying?
Soldier 70,
And that's not good.
Soldier 78 says, guys, don't forget about the nail. That's coach's
Oh,
guy.
yeah.
The
Oh,
nail.
I
I
like both.
forgot about him. Actually, let me revise that statement. I think the Nail and Bivol, those are the two guys that are coming up that probably be the class of that
Extremely impressive.
Yeah.
division. But again, it depends on their competition, how they look. Bivol beats Barrera, like I said, then that's a huge step
Then
for
we'll know.
him.
Yeah.
And then if they put the Nail in a tough fight, then I think he's a very good, very good
And the
fighter.
nail wins for the best name.
Yeah.
Best
by far.
nickname for sure.
Thank
And
you
that's
guys.
actually taken
Besides
from his
Triple
name.
G,
his
the
last
Nail is a very good nickname.
Thank you guys for the feedback. Thank you guys for the feedback. You got smart viewers here. They want you to know Dogbo and Juarez fought at 122 last night.
122.
122
right? Yeah, so they were ranked number 10 and number 9.
Okay.
And so Dogbo's going to move up.
Exciting
yeah, he'll
fight.
at least get to like number 7 on there.
It was
so he's
all
moving
action
up.
for 5 rounds.
Yeah.
Very exciting. Very
yeah.
exciting.
Ghanaian fighters usually deliver. There's a great boxing
The whole
tradition.
arena was shaking on the camera.
Even
With that
Sean
nation.
Gibbons,
Yeah.
Sean and Woody
Yeah.
are world travelers. They're everywhere.
Sean didn't like the stoppage, but it
No.
looked like he had a great time out there. It was awesome. So if you guys have any more questions, we got just a couple more minutes with Tom. Dave, Coach Dave has questions for Doug, right?
So are you going to have female fights on their club shows?
On the club shows also, yeah. Planning on the female fights at the club shows also. So we're definitely a big supporter of female boxing, especially now with what Cecilia Brecos
It
is
seems like
doing.
there's more female fighters.
Yeah,
few
it seems
more.
like there's a resurgence in female fighters.
There
you
is.
got Clarissa Shields is coming up.
Friday. She's fighting Friday.
She's fighting Eddie Hearns.
Katie Taylor.
Katie Taylor.
Katie
I don't know why
Sensational.
I-
What weight
yeah.
is Katie Taylor?
She
Lightweight?
She fights at 40 or no? I don't know.
Katie Taylor, and she's popular. She sells tickets to the Irish crowd, and she's very good. And there's a few. Top rank has Michaela?
Yeah, she's good.
Michaela Mayer.
Was she an Olympian?
She was, yeah.
Yeah, she's good.
There's definitely a resurgence in the female
We
fighting.
saw Bobo Olsen's granddaughter fight.
After having 10 years off.
10 years off.
She looked pretty good.
It was incredible against the girl. It was really good. The other girl.
Yeah.
I forget what was her name.
Cornejo?
Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
The Ring,
big
the Ring,
statuesque
and Tom are working on that. That's the question
What's
is,
that?
can we watch Valoria on a streaming service? It's going to be international feed.
Yeah, it'll be on the international feed, but we definitely want to have a stream or a feed for all the undercard fights because there are going to be some great undercard fights at the Superfly show.
So
Sinisa Estrada, you should see her, folks. I think she's an excellent future opponent for Marlene Esparza.
Okay.
The Olympic bronze medalist. It's promoted by Golden Boy.
Yeah, speaking of female fighters, you have the Serrano sisters who get a lot of.
They're awesome.
Excellent. Yeah, and they fought on
publicity.
Showtime.
Yeah, they're on Showtime.
Showtime's giving them some love.
Yeah,
They
good
can
for
really
Showtime.
fight.
Yeah, I like that.
Tom Gray Boxing, tell Doug and Tom to get me on the short list for a Triple G zipper. Okay. Okay. So that's awesome. Thanks for all the questions, you guys. So we got February 24th. If you're in LA, Superfly. Or watch on HBO. We got March, the club series.
Yeah, we'll be announcing that probably within the next 2 to 3 weeks. The exact location, the exact date, how you can see it, that show, and we're excited about that series, the club show series. And,
quick question for you.
There.
Yeah, I'll be there definitely. January 20, Errol Spence Jr. returns to defend his IBF welterweight title for the first time against Lamont Peterson. I'm pretty sure you're picking Spence, but how are you betting on this fight?
So this was an interesting fight because the odds went nuts.
Sure.
What did they go up
Spence
to?
opened
Spence is a big favorite, right?
Spence opened at 4-1.
4-1,
and I think people have been so impressed by that performance, going to the UK, knocking out Kell Brook for the title.
He looked good in that fight. Yeah.
Spence is now. This is going to shock you, but Spence has been bet up to 20-1.
20-1
over respected Lamont
Peterson. I know. I think so part of that equation has got to be people are looking at Lamont like he's a spent bullet.
Well, and also 147, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Lamont has beaten one guy there, Avanesian, but he hasn't looked. He's fought a couple fights there, but really he's a 140 guy.
Yeah.
He's a 140 guy, and Matisse kind of ran him over. So to answer your question, I think to bet this fight, you got to look at the KO prop. Yeah. But I'm still weighing whether to. I mean, you can't bet 20-1, so I think you got to look at the rounds. You got to look at the KO prop. Very excited about the fight.
I think Spence wins that fight, but it's a 20-1 is way out of line. Yeah.
If you got the early 4-1.
Yeah. Here's the thing about Spence. He has one legitimate win.
Yep.
He's already in that mythical pound-for-pound conversation. I mean, we do a best fighter poll, and Spence is right up there with Mikey Garcia and Canelo. He's like, people have him like mid. They don't even have him like number 10, number 9 pound for pound. I'm talking about writers.
Where's the coach? The coach is right here. He's ready with his question.
Coach is going to be our consultant on the club series also. He's a club show expert, and he's definitely
Coach, what's your thoughts on Spence and the odds just going heavily for him?
Well, Spence is going to win for sure.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter what the odds are.
I don't think Spence is unbeatable, though.
Well, I don't think he's unbeatable, but he's going to win this
Lamont's
fight.
a good fighter. But...
Let me ask you a question, JP.
Okay.
Do you declare your winnings from betting on boxing on your taxes?
I will answer a lot of questions for you, and I will not answer that question. Anything else you can ask me about? Life's mysteries.
No, but JP makes more money betting on fights than he makes working.
It depends on the year, Coach.
Well,
this was a good year.
You haven't had a bad year in a long time.
2017 was a great year, and hopefully we can continue that momentum in 2018 for boxing.
I'm excited about it, and I'm excited
all
about
the fighters, the promoters, all have to work together to put the best fights on.
Yeah, but it's set up for some huge fights.
There's some great matchups.
And the great thing is this year, the heavyweight division could really make a big comeback.
I don't know if we'll get another fight like we had with Klitschko versus Joshua
That's asking
at
a
Wembley
lot.
Stadium, but that was the standout fight for 2017.
But matchups can be made where people are going to have that level of interest in it. Now, when the fighters get in the ring, it may not mesh out to be a great fight, a great dramatic heavyweight, knockdown, drag-out affair. But with Tyson Fury coming back, he's probably going to fight in April.
Fury can surprise
in
a lot of
March,
guys.
both Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder are fighting. Joshua's fighting the WBO title holder.
Parker, yeah.
That's right. And Wilder's in with Luis Ortiz,
We're
who
getting some good
could be a
feedback
spoiler.
I think that could be his toughest fight.
This guy,
Ortiz.
this guy says fights he's looking forward to most: Triple G Canelo rematch. They want to see Wilder Joshua, and everybody wants to see Usyk and Gasayev in the final.
If those guys win their semifinals, that's a tremendous fight.
Yeah,
That's what Doug was saying with that tournament. You know, we tried to do when Triple G beat Boxa in his HBO debut. We tried to do a tournament of middleweights.
Middleweights, yeah.
I think it was Gennady, Sergio Martinez. I think Daniel Geale was a champion at that time. And anyway, as soon as they said, okay, Golovkin will be in the tournament, then everyone just like
you guys ruined
the
it.
tournament. So
You guys ruined it.
Yes.
that would have made life a lot easier for Triple G to
Because that was like
collect all the
2013.
This is actually a
2013.
very good question
Yeah.
for Tom. I'm wondering the answer to this. Soldier wants to know, Tom, are you and Abel going to have to choose sides if Usyk fights Gasayev in the final? That's a good question.
That's a good fight. That's a really good fight.
Tom's got to be with Usyk.
I really think
he's Usyk's promoter.
I really think that's a 50-50 fight.
a
Honestly,
great fight.
that's
Usyk's my
Usyk
man.
has the better technical abilities. He's got the Olympic gold medal.
Yeah.
He beat Golovkin in Poland. He beat Hook in Germany. He's got some tremendous wins.
Yeah.
And then Gassiev, every time I
Gassiev's
see
still
Murat,
learning.
I see Murat sparring at Wildcard with Abel, and that guy just gets stronger every time I see him.
Yeah.
And he's young, and Murat is a big talent, a big puncher. So I really think that's a 50-50 fight.
This guy says, I think the finals will actually be Usyk and Dorticus. We'll see.
Yeah,
We'll see.
Dorticos is live. Definitely.
Let me ask you, what were the TV ratings like on the heavyweight fight with Joshua and
Joshua and Klitschko? Well, that was actually one of the only fights that's been on both HBO and Showtime over here in the States. Showtime had it live, HBO had the delay.
Yeah.
And both had tremendous ratings.
Yeah.
And then in England, that was one of the highest watched. I think that was on the pay-per-view over there, and that was one of the highest grossing events on pay-per-view.
and
in
the
the
pay-per-view
UK.
there's like $25 or $30.
It's lower, yeah. It's about like 19 pounds. So
And
yeah,
they have
about
like
$25.
they have like a subscription thing where you buy by the year.
It's a little different over there. Box
Yeah,
Nation.
They have
and
like
Box Nation has.
Yeah, he's thinking about Box
subscription.
Nation.
This was on Sky.
Eddie does his
Sky
separately,
Box
though,
Office,
yeah.
So that's like per
Question
event,
for Doug and Tom. If he wins the tournament, what are your guys' thoughts on Usyk moving to heavyweight?
I think both guys
Why
can go
not?
heavyweight. I think Usyk has a big frame,
Okay.
Yeah.
and I think
And he fought super
Gassiev-
heavyweight in the amateurs like his last couple of years. He was fighting over 200
Yeah,
pounds
no, he's
in the
got a
amateurs.
big frame, and with his
Yeah.
hand speed and his footwork, I think he could do very well as a heavyweight also.
Muhammad Ali used to say 212 pounds, great dancing weight.
Yeah.
Right? You get on your toes and move
A lot
around,
of
and
people
that's what
forget
Usyk
that
can
Ali
do.
fought at that
Yeah.
what's considered now a small,
Small,
super
small heavyweight. But he would call that dancing weight. 210 to 212.
Barbosa Box says, Dougie, I'm glad you grabbed that rope. I need that rope sound, Dougie.
Oh yeah, all right. Let me get it going then. Shit.
This is your B rope.
I've been rather, yeah.
That's the B-side rope.
Yeah.
Tom, you know you weren't going to escape without this question. Every week, you know you're going to...
What are we getting now?
All right, here it comes every week. When's the Nike gear? When can we buy Triple
Jordan.
G
No,
Jordan
that
gear?
question. Yeah, we actually have
Every
a
week.
meeting scheduled in Portland with Triple G and the Jordan folks. So that's going to be at the top of the list is when we can get more Jordan gear produced. So
There you go. That's your answer.
We have some things on the shop Triple G site, like signed gloves. We have the Hublot watches that can be. Actually, there's going to be a new Hublot watch edition
Awesome.
coming out for this fight. For this year, I should say. So it'll be a little more affordable. I think like 15,000, something like that. But the Hublot watches are great.
Yeah.
And Chivas is continued sponsor of Triple G. Tecate, we signed the deal with Triple G.
That's a
Bijan
big deal.
sponsors Triple G. So yeah,
that's a
we're
big
excited
deal.
for 2018, and hopefully as soon as we get something down the pipeline on the Jordan side, we'll let anyone know.
Are you guys going to the Golden Globe tonight?
No, Gennady is actually in Kazakhstan right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Good
for
he's
him.
in Kazakhstan.
Because that's like the first place you really took him. I
We
think.
to expand him into that entertainment side. Yeah, that's where we met Omar Miller, and Omar Miller now has become one of the biggest fans. He was in London for the Brook fight, and he's been to a lot of the Triple G fights. You know, he's on Ballers. Omar,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so Omar's a great guy.
'Cause we don't know who he is.
Nah, that's true.
So, Coach
I've heard of
actually,
Ballers, so I'll check out the show now.
Yeah.
Coach, actually, if you want to go to Shop Triple G, Coach is sporting, this is
Yeah.
the new
That's nice.
sweatshirt, right?
Yeah.
Right there. So if you guys
And
want to
then
check that out.
And let me show you this.
Uh-huh.
What do
Because
you got
this is
underneath?
this is the person who pays us for advertising on
Right.
here.
That must be Garcia Poker.
Yeah, that's our
Oh,
original.
nice.
Garcia
See
Poker.
a poker, baby. There you
Can
go.
you see it?
Right
Yep.
there. Right there. So there you guys. You get that
So you're
shop
wearing
Triple G.
4Gs.
Hey, Garcia. Garcia Poker. He's the one who first told me about Triple G.
Yeah?
Sam
Yeah.
Garcia.
Sam Garcia.
Oh, right, Sam. Yeah.
That was like
So
2011.
You wrote that article about
Yeah.
this. This is a great guy.
That's
out
who.
there.
That's who tipped me off.
Yeah, Sam called you, right?
Yeah, he did not have a name, didn't even have the nationality. You're like,
Yeah.
well, who? Give me some, I don't know, some Russian guy. Like,
Russian,
you gotta give me some
speaking
details,
middleweight
man.
With Abel,
But
yeah.
he said Abel's training himself. Okay, all right, I know Abel.
And then you wrote that piece, and that kind of like opened up.
You know the awesome thing about
mystery
that is I
about
was
Triple
telling
G.
him, I was telling Abel, I was like, I just want to see him. He doesn't even have to be sparring or whatever. And he said, well, I'll call you. I'll call you the next camp we have, and you can come up for the sparring. I'm like, awesome. So then he calls
Wasn't
me.
that Canelo? Weren't you up there for the Canelo
Yeah.
spot?
So he calls me. Abel calls me. It's like months go by, and Abel calls me. I recognize him. Like, Abel. And I said, can I come up to Big Bear to watch Golovkin? And he's like, you got it, and you're gonna love this. His sparring partner, Saul Alvarez. Nobody was calling him Canelo,
Wow.
and nobody was calling Golovkin Triple G either. It's like it's 2011.
And look where we are now,
Yeah.
7 years
Matter of
later.
fact, Sam might have called me late 2010 about Golovkin.
I think that's right when Abel started working.
Yeah,
with him.
or it was
Late
early
2010,
2011.
7
yeah.
years later, the two biggest stars in the sport.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
amazing.
that's a big foreshadowing. And he also had some great sparring with Chavez Jr.
Yes.
At the wild card.
Yeah.
Abel was driving anywhere to get
Oh,
sparring.
well,
with Triple
Abel
G
was bringing
back
all
then.
those guys, and I
Yeah.
think at the time Kovalev might have been part of his squad because he had
Back then,
two.
yeah.
He had
Yeah.
two Russian light heavyweights, and it would take Golovkin and those two down to wild card, just far, and
And now
kicked
we're
ass.
driving down there again.
yeah, right. You're not welcome.
This guy says Triple G's number one. Triple G is the greatest. This guy says Usyk is actually where I'm from, Crimea, right?
From Crimea, yeah, that's
So
right.
we got some support here from
That's right,
Ukraine.
yeah, he is from Crimea, yeah.
This guy says, Tom, please bring Triple G to Texas before he ends his career.
We
It's
get
gotta
such
happen.
a big support from Texas,
Gotta
whether it's San Antonio or Dallas or Houston, we'd love to come to Texas for a fight.
This guy says Houston, please. So you got support in Texas.
That was good. Every time I go up there, we went for the Tecate thing. We went out there, and when he landed at the airport, people were waiting for him, and we
That's
didn't even announce it.
Right.
And then when we did that one thing at Mi Tierra.
Oh, yeah, the restaurant.
in San Antonio.
I love that place.
And that was just going to be a media lunch. And then they said there's like 300 people lined up
Oh.
outside the door. And I said, get out of here. You got to sign autographs for your Texas fans. So he sat there literally for about an hour and a half signing autographs, taking pictures.
But those fans are going to be Triple G fans for life.
life.
Be Triple G
That's
fans
how
for
it
life,
works.
and a lot of fighters don't do that. They would like sneak out the back door.
Yes. Yeah.
And Ali told me once, he's
And
like,
then they'll wonder, like, well, how come I don't have more fans? I mean, what's up, man?
Muhammad told me
People are
once,
biased.
he said, I've been working all my life to be famous. Why am I going to hide from the fans now?
Yeah.
Right.
It's like, so he always, that was another, Ali signed autographs all the time. And I sat there, signing photos, taking photos, signing autographs, and
San
and
Antonio
people remember that.
is a
Yeah.
great boxing market,
great-
as is Houston and the
Yeah.
Dallas-Fort Worth area. I think Austin's kind of untapped, but if you put boxing there, people
Soldier
come
wants
out.
to know if Tom speaks Russian.
Choo-choo.
A little bit. A hint at third Superfly fight. We did a little hint, right? That it'll probably be the same weight class. That was the hint, right?
Look, the winner of Estrada and Rungvisai, you can mix all those guys. Yafai is a great fight. You can mix and match all those guys. And the thing about those lighter divisions, they don't mind fighting each other. They'll fight, and
They have to fight each other. They're going to make any kind of money.
If Quadras looks really good with Abel, I think he's right back in the mix. Remember, he was supposed to be the mandatory, and then he was supposed to be the mandatory for Chocolatito.
Yeah.
And then that's when Chocolatito lost to Rungvisai, and Quadras lost to Estrada in a very close fight. But
Yeah.
if Quadras comes back strong, he could be right back in the mix, and he's a fan favorite also. So
Yeah, those are good rematches.
Yeah.
Hi guys, big fan of Triple G and Usyk from Crimea. Yes, we are too. Hello to Crimea. Am I saying
See,
that
we're
right?
getting Coach, you're getting international
From Ukraine.
International viewers here on the Periscope.
Hey, we just
Dougie
want to
Fisher.
wish happy birthday to Robert Diaz.
Oh yeah,
Oh
there
yeah,
you
the
go.
most
birthday, yeah.
interesting matchmaker in the world.
That's right. Happy
That is a
birthday, Robert
distinguished man.
Diaz.
That's a beard right there.
Yeah.
That's a distinguished
No, but
beard.
he's
I'm
good.
jealous of
He's
He's
that.
a good
really
guy,
good.
yeah.
Oh, he's the
And he's
best.
great on TV.
Yeah, he's wonderful.
I mean, he's a really good color commentator.
Yeah.
And he really knows his stuff. And
A
he's
lot of times he does the translations at the press conferences.
Oh, he's good.
For a lot of the Golden
Smart
Boy
guy.
fights.
And he's
Yeah.
a
Very
good,
smart
honest
guy.
guy.
Good guy, yeah.
You know, he knows his stuff. But he's helping Eric Diaz a lot.
This
So
guy-
nice.
Eric Gomez, yeah.
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 Can we get access to the Ring magazine online in the UK? That's the question.
Yeah.
Who's on the cover right now? Doug?
Gennady
Triple
Golovkin.
G,
I
the
hear-
pound for pound #1 fighter.
I hear
should be able to
the
sign
the
up there.
editions are now on the newsstands.
Yes, they are. You
Officially
can
out.
get it on
Sign up
newsstands
online.
now. Yeah.
It's from the UK. Soldier, you should be able to
Yeah.
sign
Oh yeah,
online.
digital. Yeah.
I get
you
mine
can get the
digitally.
digital edition anywhere.
But he wants a
Yeah.
collector. So he
And
wants
we're
a nice,
we're coming out with a new app, a new
Awesome.
Ring app that makes it so much
On your phone.
easier. Yeah, going through the magazine, choosing from all the magazines.
There you go.
You know what I mean? Like back issues and stuff.
So look out for
It's
that,
gonna be
guys.
sweet.
Did
good.
you lower the price yet?
Not yet, but
Doug's
we
working
are.
on that.
That's imminent.
Doug's working
This
on
guy
that.
wants
That's
to
an
know,
important thing.
Tom Loeffler, did you ever,
If I could just make the decision, it would have been done.
did
But, you know.
K2 ever consider signing Loma when they signed Usyk? I think Loma was the top ranked deal. Right?
Alex Krasyuk, who runs K2 Ukraine, he was talking to Lomachenko. He was talking to the Nail, and they signed Usyk, but then Loma and the Nail went to Top Rank.
Gotcha.
So,
There's your answer.
I think-
that was a very talented. I mean, that Olympic class from
Tremendous.
Ukraine was one of the best. Usyk, Lomachenko, and the Nail.
And
I mean, that's-
Beranicek, I think, was there too. Who
Could
fights?
be, yeah. Could be
that
out.
team was incredible.
Yeah, that's a big talent.
Was that
talented team.
Anatoly Lomachenko training all of them? Was he the national
I
team
think he
trainer?
was. Yeah, I think he was the national team.
Was Vasil's dad the V guy?
I don't know if he was the official national team
Okay.
trainer, but he was,
part of
definitely,
it.
yeah.
Because he was all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This guy says in Crimea, he says we pray for Triple G, Usyk, and Loma.
There you go.
So Tom, what do you think? Yeah, we know Beranicek. Tom, what do you think of Charlo as an opponent for Triple G? We've talked about this before.
Talking about that, Charlo is going to fight. Who's he fighting? He's
Hugo
fighting
Centeno Jr..
Centeno, yeah. Who's with Golden Boy, right? He's still with Golden
No,
Boy, or no?
no,
He's not with
he's-
Golden.
yeah.
He used to be. I remember back then. But
Yeah.
okay, so he's fighting him for an interim title, and then
Okay.
we'll see how if we can make this rematch with Canelo, and then see how things shake out. But Charlo, he looked good at 154. He's moving up to just moved up to 160. So we'll have to see how he looks at 160. But that's a young guy coming up. That's exciting. That's a
fighter.
guy from Texas.
Houston.
That would be
There you
an
go.
interesting fight.
There you go.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to do it. We got to get news.
Thanks for all your questions,
Well, let me
folks.
just, we got a few birthdays here.
All right, go for it.
1949, Big George Foreman.
George Foreman, right?
This is this week.
Okay.
66, Kennedy McKinney.
Oh, yeah.
She was great.
1988 gold medalist at bantamweight and a
Wasn't
junior
he was the first one
featherweight
on HBO After Dark, right? At the Forum.
Yeah,
Wasn't
against
that
Marco
Kennedy
Antonio
McKinney?
Barrera.
Yeah. What was the date?
I don't know
Good
the
luck
date.
to
I
you all.
remember I was at that fight actually
20
with
years
Kevin
ago.
Kelly, but
21 years ago.
February 3rd, 1996.
96.
And
Okay.
that was Roy Jones's first broadcast.
Right.
That was
Okay.
an incredible fight.
I remember Kevin Kelly was there, and that was a great night at the Forum.
That was really good.
Forum has a great history of boxing.
Really does.
And that's how your club shows can be.
Yeah, that's
Those
what
were
we're
like
looking at. Yeah.
club shows in a bigger arena,
Yeah,
but they
that's
were
true.
really
The
like
series,
small
yeah.
club
The
shows.
Ringsiders Club and
Yeah.
all that.
Yeah.
Right? You had the
Remember
jacket,
that?
didn't you, Dave?
No, I didn't.
You didn't have the Ringsider
No,
jacket.
but I went to every one.
Yeah.
It was so great.
Yeah.
It was
Did
really-
Larry have a Ringsiders jacket?
Larry, no.
He didn't go to the.
He didn't go to
Forum
those,
shows, no?
but we went to
Okay.
every, twice a month. They had, it was
Yeah.
really good. And then born in 1973, Tito
Trinidad.
Tito Trinidad.
Tito Trinidad, and then also
Getting old.
One of my favorite fighters.
June
Puerto Rico,
10th.
Yeah.
is my daughter Lily's half birthday.
Happy birthday,
It's her half
Lily!
birthday.
Happy birthday!
And I mean,
Bring him over here.
January 11th is her 10th, and my son Jordy, January 11th is his birthday.
Happy birthday, Jordy!
Jordy.
It's coming up.
Nice.
And Lily actually fights. She works out
Yeah.
at the gym.
Trains, yeah, nice.
Dave, behind you is the world's littlest Triple G fan.
Oh, yeah.
We're gonna have to
Wow,
start making.
the-
We have to start making some baby gear for
Baby gear.
baby gear.
What do you say, Leonardo?
He had it on yesterday.
All right, there he is. So thank you guys for all the questions.
Chip off the old JP
Yeah.
block.
Yeah.
You want
Thank
to tell
you,
them
Tom.
about driving, Doug?
Don't forget
Hey.
Soldier
Yeah,
Boy
you
for
should-
show.
Don't be messing with your phone. Now, Coach, I texted you this morning, right? Saying I'm running a little late.
Oh, yeah,
Not in the car.
I didn't even look at it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But I'm saying I texted that before I got in the car.
Good for you, Dougie.
Yeah.
I will.
And in the car, she holds the phone.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. I'm on the phone for him.
You promise.
Yeah.
All right.
You know,
So
you have to do
so when you texted back, meet me at the track. She just told me. I didn't have to take my eyes off the road for a split second.
you have to do this on a conscious level.
Yeah.
Okay, you know, we all think we're Superman. We all think we can do it. We all think we can look at the text or whatever. You cannot do it. It's an impossibility.
Yeah.
So no matter what you do and how great you are, if you're going to do that on your phone while you're driving, it's like Russian roulette.
That's it.
It's worse. So you got to be really, really.
So that's a weekly reminder.
Listen to Coach.
Reminder
No,
from
but
the coach.
there's nothing more important. And you see, I mean, every week someone's getting killed in a car crash.
Absolutely. So you
Every
really
week.
got to pay attention. Yeah.
Did you ever hear what happened with that kid?
No, it's too heartbreaking. I don't want to look
No,
into
it's
the
horrible. I mean,
details. You're talking about Omar.
yeah, Omar.
Yeah, Diaz.
So the whole thing is,
Sorry,
but you
Caesar
have to
Diaz.
do it. I have to, I have to do it on a conscious level too. I talk about it, and then the phone rings. Think, well, look
Yeah,
and see
it's an
who it
automatic
is.
reflex. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I think, I gotta listen to myself.
And then just don't drive hurried.
Right.
Even if you are running late,
An extra couple minutes.
I'd say just let whoever know. Okay, I'm running a bit late before you get in the car, and then
Something bad happens, and
Yeah.
you're gonna be really late.
yeah, shake it off, shake off the anxiety, shake off all that hurriedness, and just drive chill.
And then when someone runs every light. So when you make a left-hand
You
turn,
always got to be patient there.
don't
yeah.
just make
Absolutely.
it because you have the signal in your favor.
You always got to try
Don't
to
assume
predict
they're gonna
what
stop.
they're looking at, and yeah.
And even a lot of times, that's, well, for sure they're going to stop and boom.
Yeah.
right
and
through
then
there.
they speed up.
I've had
Yeah.
some close calls. I've had some close calls coming here. Oh man.
Remember the one where you got hit?
Oh, there was one. My whole life flashed before my eyes. Like, oh, I'm dead. Like, but we missed.
Anyway,
and there was one where I got clipped just
Yeah.
barely, and it was when she was like a baby, and I was so glad she wasn't in her car seat. I look back at the car seat. I'm like, that's where the car almost hit.
But we're really serious about this stuff.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, yeah.
we talk
We
about
want
it.
everyone to live.
And you can't talk about it enough.
Yeah.
So, anyway, the other thing is be positive, be happy. It all works out. Love everybody, love everything. And we'll see you next week.
We'll see you next week. We'll talk about Clarissa Shields, Errol Spence, talk more about 360 promotions, and maybe Canelo Triple G. We'll see.
And then it's going to be coming up pretty soon. What is it? Linares and
Oh
Matisse
yeah,
coming
that's
up
January
also.
27th.
Linares,
That's going to be a
Matisse.
lot of fun, that doubleheader. And here's what I want to
Mercito
say:
Gesta.
don't count out that dude from Thailand.
Okay.
Just because we don't know him,
His
we
name-
don't know his name.
He's undefeated, isn't he?
He's undefeated. I mean, he's big for a Thai fighter, but man, forget
I didn't know
about
they
it.
made those fighters that big.
Nah, but they don't mess around.
What's the price
They
of
don't
that
mess
fight?
around now.
It should be out next week. Right
Yeah.
now, there's only odds on Errol and a few other things. Gasayev Dorticus is a pick 'em, but we'll see. We'll talk
How's he have
about
Dorticus to pick him?
I guess I have a slight
Small
fave.
favorite. Yeah,
Small
that's
fave, yeah.
about right.
Anyway, hey, thanks for coming, Tom.
Okay, good.
Have a great
Thanks,
Always
crew.
good to be on the Periscope.
We'll see you next week. Hold down,
Doug
wait.
needs to.
Getting in with a bunch of questions for you at the end. If you want to turn it back on for 10 minutes.
You are still on.
Okay, do you want me